Dutchman versus Kingsman, the Secret Service.
Hi, it's me, the world's worst ASAP doppelganger you could ever hope for. I'm a huge James Bond fan. If you wake me up in the middle of the night to say to me like, you want to watch a bad James Bond movie, I'll be like, sure. Do you want to watch Quantum of Solace, Die Another Day, View to a Kill, Moonraker? And do you want to watch the original VHS release? Do you want to watch them on DVD or Blu-ray, with or without the director's commentary? And seriously, I've seen all of them repeatedly. Like, I've even at one point considered getting like this enormous box set that was shaped like a revolver, or water PK obviously, but it was over £250, so it was a little bit outside of my budget at that point. But, and I say but because this kind of makes me wary of James Bond parodies. We've all seen Austin Powers, we've seen Johnny English, and Austin Powers was funny for like a movie, but then they made another two, and Johnny English was okay, but the best thing I can say about Johnny English is that it wasn't bad. So when the Kingsman was first released back in 2015, I wasn't that bothered. Oh, hang on. This one is about Kingsman the Secret Service, the one that came out in 2015. You want to know my opinion of Kingsman the Order of whatever the fuck? It's going to be out tomorrow, because as soon as this is online, I'm going to be watching it. Yeah, that's not, you know, needlessly inconvenient at all. So when Kingsman came out in 2015, I was not aware of it being a comic book adaptation. I wasn't particularly invested. I wasn't like, it was just another film parodying James Bond, and there's quite a few of those, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily make me want to go to check them out in the cinema. Luckily, I've got a younger brother who's really into films, more so than I am. If I have an extensive, you know, filmography of DVDs and collectibles in my library, he probably has at least 3 times the size of it. So he says to me one day, like, I've seen this, but do you want to see it? Back home in one of his DVD collections. So I'm like, is it any good? Because I'll legit let it slide past me. He's like, it's mint. So yeah, I watched Kingsman the Secret Service, and since then, huge big fan. It's a great big fun movie. But let's crack it down a little bit. Kingsman the Secret Service starts off a little bit more serious than it winds up, as we see these commandos coming down and they are speaking Arabic and they're taking down a terrorist somewhere, and this is irrelevant aside from the fact that somebody dies. And from the start we get like the obvious class system in England, which is still very much so a thing. BT dubs, this isn't like communism eat the rich kind of information, but the 1% that are the richest families in England at the moment and are in power are the same 1% that were the richest families in power as much far as 100 years ago. This is true. You can easily Google it, and if it's false, you can insult me in the comments, but it's true, it's a thing. So there's a class distinction in the Kingsman, and what better way to show it to have like a chavvy chav, you know, rise up to the ranks of this secret service called the Kingsman. That's basically the plot. Colin Firth picks a protege called Eggsy, who was the son of his former protege who saved his life back in terrorist country, and he trains him up to be a Kingsman. The first half of the film is a little bit cliche. It's like training, secret tests of character, and, you know, finding out what it is to be a Kingsman and who's the best. And Eggsy, despite his flaws, I say flaws, but the only real flaws he has is supposedly being lower class. And Eggsy has a bit of a brain on him. He gets through all the tests good. Well, that's my English. Excuse me, I'm foreign. But that's not even really the main plot. That's like a B plot. The real plot, in the meantime, has been Samuel Jackson, who's been a gloriously, you know, Steve Jobs kind of bad guy. He's a new villain in an old school world, if you kind of know what I mean. Like, the setting is basically James Bond, but the bad guy is quite like I said. He's Steve Jobs. So he comes in with a revolutionary new way to take over the world, or at least his evil scheme of it, using smartphones, using technology, using satellites, using chips. And it's something that the Kingsmen are not really prepared to take down. But mind you, in the end, just like how Skyfall focused on how low-tech can be high-tech, come to think of it, Skyfall basically had the same plot beats. Here we see that the Kingsmen are still capable of taking down the new kind of brand of villainy. The action scenes in this are quite weird. They're a bit jumbled, but they're never really shaky cam. They're sped up a little bit, but it's always very clear and distinct what's going on. And I know I hammer on about this point quite a lot, but I have attention to deficit hyperactive disorder, so shaky cam is an immediate turn off for me. So there's only one film franchise allowed to have that, and that's Jason Bourne. And the other kinds can kindly bugger off immediately. It's to the degree that I have a huge threshold of getting into a lot of new comedies nowadays, like Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They could be great written, but just the way the camera works, it's a huge problem for me. It is a very personal problem, I'm quite aware of it. But like I said, the action in this, it's sped up, but there's always a great deal of focus. There's always maybe 3/4 of the action scene of let's say a punch is sped up, but then the last fourth is like a lingering moment. Like you see it connect, you feel the pain, you see somebody getting stabbed and you know what's going on. It's not like a blink, 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 blink and you'll miss it kind of ordeal. This is very important because if it's one thing Kingsman likes, is putting one protagonist into a group of people that he just absolutely decimates. Be this Galahad or be this Eggsy. There's only really one big one-on-one combat in this film, and that's the climax of the entire thing. I don't want to give too much away about this film. If you haven't seen this one yet, before going to see The Golden Circle, please, it's on Netflix, at least over here. It's very cheap to download off of iTunes. It's a great film. It has an impeccable cast. It starts off with Mark Hamill in a side role, and Mark Hamill is always a joy to see. Colin Firth is Galahad, Michael Caine is his boss, who's probably called King Arthur, but they don't really name drop it. Like I said, Samuel Jackson is the bad guy, Steve Jobs but he had a lisp, so it's like, I'm Samuel Jackson, but he can't stand the sight of blood. It's a hilarious side note for a villain who's very much so capable and willing of destroying half of the world to get what he wants. He's got a henchman with prosthetic legs, except you know how the track and field disabled people have these bouncy legs, except they have heels with razor thin blades, and that's her MO. She kicks around like a motherfucker and she kills people with her fucking razor heels. That's both brilliant and insane. Mark Strong is Merlin, who's basically Q, except he talks a bit northern, and he's condescending, he talks down to everybody, but he's really honest. He's not hateful, spiteful or anything. All of the side characters who are names I can't even remember because I'm horrible with names, they all are a little bit, typical, but they all fill their purpose. You hate the ones you need to hate, you like the ones you need to like. It's a good movie. It's not the most impeccably written thing of all time, but it's great fun, great entertainment. I implore you, if you haven't seen the Kingsman Secret Service yet, before you go to see out Kingsman The Order of the something or other, I'll get back on that name tomorrow, please do, just do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it now. I hope I come out of the Kingsman sequel with about the same feeling I have right now, because I watched the Kingsman The Secret Service for the third time in my life this evening, and I'm now recording this. If it meets me halfway, let's say half as good as the first one, it would still be quite enjoyable. Imagine Jaws 2 or Robocop 2. They're never quite the same level of the first, but they're still quite enjoyable films in their own right. Do you think I'm an absolute moron for not knowing this was a comic book adaptation or a good film? There's lots of things we could do. You could please come to my house and I'll proceed to break down in tears and, you know, fall into shambles because I'm not a very confident man all of the time. There's a box down here, like you can type in mean words over there. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Please give me a thumbs down, just in general. Give me your dislike, please. Follow me on social media so you can see what kind of an idiot I am in general. I've got Facebook, a Tumblr, MySpace, Goodreads, LinkedIn. Please add me on LinkedIn, a Twitter, and you know, they're all Dutch sticker. And let me know what you think. Give me your hatred. I crave your disapproval.
We have to fucking kill the rich.